So something I've realised today, and it relates to the information that you've been given on unconscious and conscious competence. For those of you who have read the information on conscious and unconscious competence, this is a model that was created in the 1970s. I can't remember the name of the guy off the top of my head, but he created this model in order to help people who were learning or training. He was a member of a big training organisation. And the model really helps to explain any learning process. And it's really useful for what we're doing in terms of journeying into being sober, because we're learning a new skill. We're learning how to live life differently. And it's really useful to apply. And I thought about this at the weekend. I'd been invited to an afternoon tea, which was actually somebody's hen party. Now, I'm at the stage in my journey, in my learning, where I'm at the unconscious competence section. So that's the kind of final section of the diagram of the model. Because what was happening was I don't like hen parties at all. It's not my cup of tea. I'm not a hen party type person. But I wanted to go because I wanted to support the person whose hen party it was. And it was only an afternoon tea, so it wasn't really a big deal and it wasn't a massive chunk of my time. But safe to say it wasn't the kind of thing that I was really looking forward to. Now, in the past, if it had been about 6 months ago, when I was still in the conscious competence part of the learning model, I would have had to really concentrate, plan and prepare for going to that hen party, that afternoon tea, and remaining sober. So I would have perhaps mentally rehearsed what I was going to do. I would have pictured the event. I would have pictured myself going to the event. I would have pictured being offered a drink. I would have pictured everybody else having a drink. And I would have pictured myself saying no. And I would have put some energy and effort into going to this event and into remaining sober at that event. And I perhaps would have felt higher levels of anxiety. Now, the truth is, I'm far enough along in my learning to have shifted into the unconscious competence section. So basically what happened was I went along to the afternoon tea, mild levels of anxiety, just basically down to my reluctance to be a sociable person. But went along and just really enjoyed it, connected with a few people, had a conversation with a few people, felt a little bit awkward at times. There was Prosecco flowing freely. Everybody was drinking Prosecco. I was easily able to just say, no, thanks, not for me. Nobody questions it. Quite often we have a fear about what other people are going to say and do, how we're going to be judged when we're not drinking. And the real honest truth is, most people don't bat an eyelid. When you're in that space of being really confident with what you're doing, when you say no thanks, I'm not drinking today, or I'm driving, or whatever it is you say it with such confidence and such ease that it's just accepted. If you're with people or in a situation where you feel like there's pressure being put on you, or people are not happy with you not drinking, there's an issue there for them. There's some reason that's motivating them to want you to drink, and it's kind of making them uncomfortable that you're not drinking. So that's an issue for them. And perhaps in the early stages of your sober journey, of your sobriety, it's best to avoid those situations. Certainly when you're consciously trying to be competent at being sober. Best to avoid those situations where you might be with people who could be putting pressure on you, unless, of course, you feel strong enough to deal with that. So back to the afternoon tea. I'm like I say, I'm in the unconscious competence bit because I didn't bat an eyelid. It didn't occur to me to prepare for it. I just got in the car, went, picked up someone on the way, took them there. We sat, we chatted. I drank my, I think it was green tea they gave me to drink. And ate lots and lots of sugar, some really unhealthy foods, but I'd worked out a couple of times that day, so I knew I'd earned it, so it was fine. And had a really enjoyable afternoon. And the reason that I'm vlogging this is just really to emphasise what I said in tutorial 1. around conscious and unconscious competence is that 4, 5, 6 months ago, that would have been a very different experience for me. I would have been putting a lot of energy into preparing for that and how do I do it sober, being anxious about it, and getting through it in any way I could. Now I've shifted, I'm actually enjoying life and the moments in life like that for what they are. I'm not giving a second thought to whether I'm drinking or not drinking. It's just become automatic that I'm not drinking. And so for you, the journey will be a similar one. Time-wise, don't put any pressure on yourselves whatsoever. This can happen in different time frames for different people. Some people might take 6 months to a year to shift into that unconscious competence phase and for it to just become automatic, although very rarely it often happens a lot quicker than that. And for some people it might be quicker. So there's no specific time scale. It's all down to who you are as an individual and how your journey is as an individual and what works for you. So yeah, interesting afternoon tea hen party that turned out to be quite enjoyable in the end. Okay, great work people, and I'll check in with you soon. Bye.